Welcome to A Changed Life. This is a podcast about choosing differently, how you think, how you relate, and how you lead yourself. Here we focus on the inner shifts that create real momentum and open up what's possible next. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm really glad that you're here today. I'm going to share something I think kind of unusual with you, something that sort of dawned on me in a really unexpected way. And I think by the time we're done today, you may look at yourself differently, or you may look at someone that you love a little differently too. So stay with me. So I have this skill, I guess maybe we would call it. That might be a stretch, but I have this uncanny ability to untangle necklaces, untangle jewelry when it's all bunched up in a big knot. And not just mine. I mean, I've done this for, friends and family, and it's just one of those things. You hand me the pile of necklaces, and before long, I will have them completely unknotted, each one. And here's the weird-ish thing about it, or the interesting thing about it. I find this so incredibly relaxing. I find it meditative, sort of challenging in a weird way. And I just love to do it. It's just something that settles me inside. And I realize that this may sound strange, because anytime that somebody has asked me, like, could you help me with this? And now, people that are in my life, they know that I love to do it and I'm really good at it. They're usually frustrated. Like, they're just fed up. They can't handle it. It's just like, I just can't be bothered with this. It just totally irritates me. It aggravates me. I don't want to do it. And I've watched that happen. I've actually been with someone who literally threw the necklaces across there. They're like, forget it, I'm just going to throw them out. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And just the other day, I was with a friend, and they asked, can you untangle these for me? And I said, yeah, of course I can. And I sat down, and I just went to work completely in my element. And she looked at me like, there's such a bizarre superpower. And I was sitting there while I was working through the knots. Something came to me. And this is the necklace theory. So here's what I want you to understand. What calms one person can activate another. What feels like a challenging, satisfying puzzle to me could feel like actual punishment to someone else. And this isn't about personality. It's not about being difficult or high maintenance or too sensitive. It's about the way that your nervous system learned to respond to the world. Your nervous system has a signature, a default setting, a go-to response that kicks in maybe when you're under pressure or under stress, in moments of uncertainty. And that signature was shaped by so many things. Early experiences, what felt safe growing up and what felt threatening, what you practiced, what you were taught, consciously or not, about how to handle hard things. Your nervous system, it absorbs all of it, and it built a signature from it. And now that signature often runs without you ever even realizing it. So I want to show you what this looks like in real life, because I think it's really going to make everything click. I was working with a couple recently, and watching them, I could see the necklace theory playing out in real time in their relationship. When he gets triggered, when he's stressed or overwhelmed, or something goes sideways between the two of them, his nervous system signature is to get emotional and reach out toward her. He wants to talk. He wants to process out loud together. He wants to go over it over and over and on and on. Connection is how he regulates. It's how his system calms down. But her signature is the complete opposite. So when she gets triggered, she goes quiet. She pulls inward. She retreats inside herself because she needs space and quiet and stillness to process. So solitude is how her system calms down. So here's what happens between them every single time. He reaches towards her, she pulls back. And now from his perspective, she's abandoning him at the very moment that he needs her the most. And from her perspective, he's flooding her at the exact moment that she needs space. Sound familiar? Neither one of them is doing anything wrong, and neither one of them is being cruel or selfish or checked out. They're both just running their signature, but those signatures are speaking two completely different languages under stress, under pressure. And without that awareness, without the language to name what's actually happening, they just keep having the same fight over and over. And it slowly builds into this story about who the other person is and whether or not they really care and whether or not they really notice and whether or not they're paying attention, right? So I want you to think about someone in your life for a second. It could be your partner, it could be your mother, it could be your best friend, your sister, it could be your employer. Think about the thing that they do that makes no sense to you. The thing that frustrates you or hurts you or makes you feel like they just don't get it. What if that thing isn't a character flaw? What if it isn't them being careless or thoughtless or selfish or difficult? What if it's just their nervous system signature doing exactly what it learned to do? Because here's what I want you to know. After years of working with people, so much of the resentment that builds between people, so much of that quiet distance, the low-grade frustration, the feeling of being unseen, it isn't really about the thing that we think it's about. It's two nervous system signatures colliding and neither person having the language to understand what's happening underneath that. When you can name it, everything shifts. You stop making it about the other person's character and you start getting really curious about their wiring. And curiosity is so much more useful than blame. It's so much more useful. So now here's the part that I really need you to hear because this is really important. Your nervous system signature is not a life sentence. It's not. So just because you've always done something a certain way, just because you've always responded to something in a certain way, it doesn't mean that it has to be that way. This is just a starting point. You can learn to see your patterns. You can learn to recognize the moment that you're running it. You're in a pattern. And in that recognition, you get a choice. You can run the pattern or you can write a new one. That is literally what rewiring is. That is the whole game. Not fixing something that's broken in you, because nothing is actually broken. It's building enough awareness of your own signature that you get to choose what you do with it. But you cannot change what you cannot see. So the first step is always awareness. Know your signature. Know what your nervous system reaches for when things get hard. And then get curious about the people around you. What's their signature? What did their nervous system learn? What does stress look like in them? That understanding, just that, will change more in your relationship than almost anything else that I could give you. So let me go back to those necklaces. Me there sitting calm, completely in my element, working through every knot like it's the most natural thing in the whole wide world. And my friend next to me who would have thrown the whole thing away if she had to deal with it by herself. Neither of us is better at life. Neither of us is more evolved or more patient or more capable. We're just wired differently. And the moment that I understood that, not just about the necklaces, but about everything, something shifted in the way that I see people. I stopped needing them to respond the way I respond. And I got curious about what it's like to be them. That's the necklace theory. That is the theory. Getting curious about the other person. getting out of your own way so that there is space to see that somebody else is having a different reaction and it doesn't make them wrong. They have a different signature. So if this landed for you today, if it's giving you a little more room to breathe around someone you love, someone you work with, someone that you have no choice but to have to deal with, share this episode. Share it with them. Text it to them right now, because sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for someone is hand them a new way to see themselves. Share the necklace theory. They need to hear it too. And I will see you in the next episode. If something in today's episode resonated with you, you'll find a link in the show notes to book a free consultation call. Or you can visit ElyseCraft.com to explore my programs and free resources. Nothing changes until you do. And when you do, everything does. This is a changed life. Not all at once, but for good.